Hi, and welcome to the short message on managing ESG risks. I'm starting with risk. What is it? Anytime we're making a decision, we're managing a risk towards the achievement of a given objective. That's it, pure and simple. Fundamentally, that's all that needs to be understood. What then are ESG risks? Well, they pertain to all of the non-financial activities undertaken by people to achieve given outcomes. And the question then arises, how do you manage all of those non-financial activities, the entirety of the organization, effectively? Where to start, I would say, would be, think of it in terms of, is the ecosystem stupid? That is where we need to position our thinking first. This diagram here that reflects what an ecosystem might look like. The multiple dots, the grey lines between the dots, representing all the interconnections, all the interdependencies that exist between the various entities within this ecosystem. Think in terms now as well of root cause and effect. How something might have a root cause in one part of an ecosystem and precipitate effects elsewhere, change behaviors elsewhere, people behaviors, societal, economic, and so forth. Question then arises, how can you possibly begin to identify all that's going on in terms of those decision loops that are occurring simultaneously across the organization, but we can't see them occurring across the organization? Well, I've coined the term quantum risk to define all of these decisions, all of these risks that exist within the ecosystem. So think of that term quantum risk, because I'm going to refer to it now in a moment towards the end. How do we parameterize all of these quantum risks across the ecosystem? One of the many things that we can do is to leverage the power of a huge resource across the ecosystem. All of those frontline decision makers, the P&L owners, and their direct business supports. Imagine the power of the cognitive base, the diversity of that cognitive base within every ecosystem today. Imagine how, if all of those people and systems were answering questions and providing signals and information back to a central repository, as it were. Imagine the cognitive leaps that we could make in terms of joining the dots. For example, we might see all of the blue issues at any given time. They could be the governance issues, the green being environmental and yellow, perhaps societal. Think of how that would inform our thinking and our understanding and affect our decision-making behaviors. Now, this is very important today, this type of thinking, because we know that ESG investing is becoming mainstream, because investment managers understand that ESG investing seems to reduce risk of the downside, because good ESG companies have just in some way found out what matters most over the longer term and are thus able to manage things better, think things through better. Think in terms now of providing demonstrably credible metadata to your board of directors, to the executive, to management, and to investment managers. That metadata being data, for example, of all of the things that people are doing across countries, all of the roles that are involved, the topics that are emerging, the trending topics over time, the topics that are covered by policies. Think of the assurance you'd be giving to boards and to investment managers if you simply provided that kind of metadata in a demonstrably credible way. That, I think, is a solution well worth working towards. Thank you.